Hello and welcome to the third game of the quarterfinals of the AMD Premier League. Zenith taking on Rattlesnake, giving us an amazing game number 2 and having set the hopes high for game number 3. Let's see if Rattlesnake can take down the TI3 invitee Zenith, or if Zenith can, put Rattlesnake in their place, showing that they are indeed deserving of the qualifier spot rather than the solid invite that Zenith has gotten. And I will not be casting this game by myself. Once again, I am joined by Basskip. What are you expecting for this game? With the Alchemist ban.
Alchemist banned. We've got game 3, and I think hopefully Rattlesnake going to show us something as exciting as the last couple of games of Alchemist. So, hey everybody, I'm psyched for this game, and hopefully Ice is feeling okay. And we're straight underway.
Yeah, of course, the delay for this game, also for people that are watching inside Dota TV and not anywhere else, was that Ice is actually ill, so he needed some time to throw up and get his act together for a bit so he can focus completely on this game. So far, in terms of bans, we're still gonna have Bedrider banned and Lifestealer as well. Alchemist respect ban for Rattlesnake because they really don't want to deal with Luo's solo mid Alchemist anymore. And Queen of Pain is the last ban that Rattlesnake has decided to throw in the mix. Shadow Demon once again first pick up for Rattlesnake this game.
Nyx and Lundruid make it through.
Yeah.
Rattlesnake actually value the Shadow Demon above either, so that's actually really interesting to see, and it fits in with the theme that we've seen so far from them of just how aggressive they are as far as players. And Zenith, Magnus and Nyx.
Yeah, Magnus second time. The previous game, of course, was successful in the end, so why break something that's not, or why change something that's not broken? And Nyx Assassin, like you said, I mean, he was the obvious one that made it through the drafting phase, and you can't really pass up on that one, even though Rattlesnake, like you said, willingly did that, wanting to go for the Shadow Demon first. Probably have got a plan in mind, even with the Alchemist banned out. Can expect to see the Leshrac once again, as we've seen Kaboot playing that one real solidly the entire series so far. And maybe a solo mid-hero picked up with that as well.
So Rattlesnake right now, hopefully going to find someone. We saw the Clockwork last time around. I think we might see it again here, or someone in a similar vein. There's a Magnus and a Nyx who you don't really want to be initiating on you. You would prefer to be the one initiating. I mean, we touched on this last game, so Rattlesnake, who knows? I mean, they've been throwing curveballs this whole competition, but looks like they're going to go with what they know, and they're going to pick themselves up a Leshrac here. But both of these heroes are going to have a really tough time against the Nyx. So Rattlesnake, one of the things that they can look to do, start pushing hard, start pushing early, have the lineup that comes online earlier, and then pick up an early gem, try and make the Nyx, kind of a moot point, but we'll see.
Yeah, just try to anticipate where he's going to be and just stack those wards up, which, if they indeed go for that fast push, they will have early towers, therefore early gold, also for their supports to actually get that gold up for those wards, and therefore rendering Nyx Assassin quite useless. Quite surprised to see, curious to see what Nyx Assassin is going to be playing as, or at least, is he going to be solo mid, as in Asian Dota? We've seen a lot of Nyx Assassin solo mid. And therefore also what's Magnus going to do? Is he going to go on the solo offlane again, as we saw it last time? He went toe-to-toe with the Clockwork and did really well at that. Of course, we still have, again, the Shadow Demon and Leshrac. So those could be going for a safe trial lane, could be going for an aggressive trial lane. Anything is still possible. And the hero that we saw in the first banning phase in the first game from Rattlesnake actually picked up right now. It is Tinker.
Yeah, and I don't know, I love seeing Tinker, because if a team are picking Tinker, they know what they're doing with it, and it's just always a treat to watch a nicely played Tinker. Rattlesnake already with some really nice tools to deal with him. Clockwork is going to make, life at least a bit of a pain there, but yeah, Zenith, I think they've already freed themselves up quite a bit of space with the Tinker as well. So long as he doesn't have too tough a time, similar to the Keeper of the Light, can stall things out, and so it means that Zenith can look towards maybe a slightly more late game oriented lineup here.
Yeah, and of course with the Magnus and the Tinker on the board, they already are having their 2 solo lanes ready, so it will make it fairly easy for Rattlesnake to ban out some heroes, as they're going to be actually banning out the Lone Druid, and that is actually a hero that Zenith plays on a solo offlane. So are they expecting Tinker on a tri lane? I know I've seen it before, but I don't think it was with Zenith. I'm not sure.
I mean, we could definitely see Zenith having the Tinker as the primary farmer, have the not necessarily an aggressive tri lane, but have him there just sitting happily farming. Magnus wouldn't be too sad being on mid. It would be really nice for Zenith if they could pick up an offlaner who actually spends quite a bit of time on the offlane, because obviously they can spend some time stacking up the Ancients, and even if they don't get to stack up the Ancients, the threat of that is going to force Rattlesnake to try and ward it up. So, yeah, Zenith, I don't know if we'll necessarily see Tinker mid. I mean, it's not clear just yet what the mid is going to be for Rattlesnake, though if Zenith wants to do it, I think we'd expect to see more bans on mid within these next two, as opposed to more sort of off-laney bans, which is what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, the Darkseer as well as the Nature's Prophet getting banned out. And the Keeper of Light being removed there as well. Of course, that's one of those heroes that works very well together with the Nyx Assassin. And they don't want to be having to deal with that combination. Especially not knowing that Zenith is still missing their hard carry. And just wanted to, just in case, Zenith is going to go for the Call PL combination. We haven't seen it yet today, but you know that doesn't mean that it's not still powerful. So just removing that one out of the equation. And probably going to be banning out another carry. Here with that basically being the one thing that Zenith still needs, or a follow-up stun that can go help out with the Nyx Assassin, actually, because that would also work very well. We have seen a lot of defensive Shadow Demon disruptions, and if Zenith picks himself up a Lina or something like that, that actually works in favor of Zenith, because they can follow up that Light Strike Array on that disruption, and they ban out the Chen. Wow.
Wow. So Rattlesnake are just banning a lot of push at the moment, which is, to me, pretty interesting. Oh, and Zenith, they banned the Juggernaut. I was gonna say Juggernaut is great. He's great against both Coddle and against Tinker, because you just put down the healing ward. You don't care about the Illuminate. You don't care so much about the March. But Zenith, I think. Yeah, it's Rattlesnake's it's Rattlesnake's style to go aggressive, but this time they're going to pick themselves up an anti-mage, so looking a little bit more defensive, though he can be a safe lane solo, and they could still pick up someone to head towards that top lane, try and put the pressure down with the Shadow Demon Endless track. Yeah, that would force the Clockwork to go into the mid lane though, and even though that's possible, actually very possible if they're expecting Magnus mid. I'm not quite sure if we're going to see that from Rattlesnake. This is something that we haven't seen them pick up before. An Anti-Mage, of course, I mean, they were forced into this role by not having the Alchemist there. Anti-Mage, a hero that can definitely split push. I mean, at some point, Tinker is, of course, very big, but Anti-Mage can actually still split push, even if there's a Tinker on the map. So maybe that's indeed their goal, to just be able to hold on long enough until that late game is there, and they can take it with the Anti-Mage, but they still need something to dominate the mid lane in mid gaming. Otherwise, they're gonna get run over by a Magnus and a Nyx Assassin, and now also a Gyrocopter up for Zenith. That's their carry of choice, and I have to say it's a pretty strong choice at that. Again, mid game is gonna be something where Gyro is very strong, and also in the lane, of course, as well. Nyx Assassin giving the chance for Gyro to come closer to the target with the Impale, of course, or the Rocket Barrage will be able to reach the target. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zenith, nice to see that they're picking up the Gyrocopter and sort of having that appreciation that Tinker, he's going to need space. He's going to need time. He's not the same as a Queen of Pain. He's not the same as a Puck. You need to give him the farm. You need to give him the levels. And you can't expect him to do too much too early. So picking up someone like the Gyrocopter gives them nice early game damage. Whoa! Oh, and a Rattlesnake. Shadow Fiend. So, it could be both a farming Anti-Mage and a farming Shadow Fiend with an aggressive tri-lane centered around the Clockwork. Or it could just be very defensive Clockwork on the off lane. But the thing with Shadow Fiend is that he actually does okay mid, but if Zenith make the decision to put the Nyx Assassin mid, then he's going to have a heck of a time. It's going to be really tough. Though obviously that makes the rest of their lanes kind of weird, so... Yeah, well, the thing about what I think about a Shadow Fiend is that, on the lane he's strong. He can definitely survive in the mid lane long enough and actually win the mid lane as well. But in terms of killing potential and, that moment when normally when mid lanes turn level 6 to 8, they can roam around trying to get killed. Shadow Fiend is not that big of a hero for that. He'll just rotate into a more farmy role normally. And if you're up against a Magnus and a Nyx Assassin, they are those kind of heroes that will roam around and trying to get kills. So interesting to see. Now the only good thing is, like, you cannot shut down and the Shadow Fiend and the Anti-Mage. You have to choose only one, so the other one will probably still get big. Yeah, so Shadow Fiend's hopefully going to go for a build that lets him fight a little bit earlier, because Anti-Mage is going to be the one sitting back. He's going to be the one farming and hoping to carry the game out. So I would expect to... Okay, so it's going to be played by Luo. We saw how aggressive he was on the Alchemist, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see, you know, Shadow Blade, you know, things of that nature on this Shadow Fiend right now.
Yeah, we're gonna see the Jakiro as the last pickup for Zenith, and that's one of those heroes that I mentioned. I mean, it's just a follow-up stun on the Impale from the Nyx Assassin. Might not be a Light Strike Array, but can have the same effect. And in terms of team fight, you've got your RP, Micropire, Dual Breath, Cooldown, March of the Machines, and an AoE Impale. If Zenith get that combination off, Rattlesnake is going to be in deep trouble.
It's very similar to last game, where Zenith
remaining.
have the bigger team fight. They have the bigger zoning, and just between
5
Tinker and
seconds
Gyrocopter,
remaining.
getting anywhere close to the fight is going to be so difficult. Flak Cannon and March of the Machines are going to mean that Zenith have the space in the team fights to really do what they want. And looks like Zenith need another minute, so we're gonna have some time to talk about lanes and talk about who's playing what.
Yeah, well, for Zenith, I don't think it's any surprise to see Ice Ice Gyro, Ice on the Nyx Assassin, Freedom on the Jakiro, XY on the Tinker, and Yamate on the Magnus, meaning Magnus mid, Tinker, maybe safe lane solo, and then an aggressive trial lane with the Gyro, the Nyx, and the Jakiro. Definitely a potential for some killings there.
Yeah, definitely. And over on the side of Rattlesnake, we're gonna have Luo playing the Shadow Fiend, Landon is gonna be on Clockwork, Kabu playing Leshrac, Icy is gonna be on Anti-Mage this time around, and Sag is going to be on the Shadow Demon, so that's gonna wrap it up for them.
Yeah, once again, that combination. Let's see if they can make it happen, because I think right now they're thinking safe lane, tri lane, and the counter initiation potential is definitely there. But as I just said, I said it with the Lina as an example. Should someone initiate on someone on the side on Rattlesnake, someone from Zenith that is, initiate on Rattlesnake, there will be of course a disruption to save that guy from any kind of follow-up. But then the ice path will be going over the disruption and there will be no way out afterwards. So they actually have to be very careful about the disruption and who they disrupt where, because it might actually help Zenith in the ways that they really don't want to help Zenith get kills that early on.
So
but yeah, it's gonna be tricky.
And nice, Zenith ready to go. So again, Ice, we hope that you are feeling better, and we're looking forward to an exciting game. And Zenith, Smoke picked up the start. I don't know, are they gonna go for this? No, just gonna be a walk. Oh, they are gonna smoke.
They are gonna smoke.
Oh, this could be very aggressive. They could be going all for a bit of a path that cuts all the way down behind the tier 1, get the full wraparound.
Yeah,
And then especially someone like Shadow Fiend.
Oh, and he is gonna go for a safe lane. Do you think they're expecting an aggressive tri lane and therefore putting Anti-Mage on the safe tri lane? That is actually on the suicide lane? Or what?
I don't know. I think things are going to be tough regardless of how these lanes work out for Rattlesnake. I mean, obviously Shadow Fiend, not a hero that's equipped in the slightest to face a 3v1. And Zenith, they're not actually going to duck down, so it looks like SF is going to be fine. But very aggressive start from them. And
Oh, the flare.
The perfect rocket flare
Nice.
from Lanham gets the scout. So
That will be
We
the
won't
end
see
of that
anything.
one.
To battle.
yeah.
100 gold wasted. Not bad.
Not a bad start to the game. A minor victory for them. And Zenith, again, I'm really intrigued to see how these lanes are working out, because XY and ISSI, oh, looks like S. Okay, so what's happening? Magnus
Well, what's
has
happening? We
Bottle
have
Rush.
Lanham in the mid lane on the Clockwork, up against
Yeah,
Magnus.
that's for sure.
So it's the same matchup as we saw this at the previous game, though different players, or at least
The
Lanham's still on the
battle
Clockwork, but
begins.
yeah, Magnus there. Oh, disruption. They just want to try and maybe deny the illusion rune. No, it's going to be taken by Ice. Nice split earth, though. It's upon 2. They can't have a follow-up, however. And they're just going to be having to deal with the fact that there's an illusion rune up on Ice. They did manage to get some damage out on Ice, who is forced to use the first tango already. And we have aggressive tri lane versus aggressive tri lane, I think. And I think that's good for Zenith, that they actually get an aggressive tri lane where they are in the safe lane. Well, I think they wanted to have the aggressive tri lane to begin with. If that makes sense.
I think, yeah, you can see that the lanes are kind of working out as they expected. You wouldn't send the Tinker to off lane if you were expecting the tri lane to be there.
Yeah.
So Zenith, I think, getting a pretty good read on the game right here. and seeing what's going on. We could have seen, you know, a slight mix-up for Rattlesnake, but it is going to be the Clockwork mid. And Lanham, where are his items? Okay, so he's... Whoa. He's got nothing. He's just now got his bottle up. So it was the most extreme of extreme bottle rushes I think I've ever seen.
Well, he does pop a skunk. I think he managed to get some regens, because otherwise he wouldn't have bought anything. And, you know, you can buy a bottle straight off if you want to. But, yeah.
Exactly.
That was,
very economical build.
Yeah. It is. And we're gonna hang around to just, fill the empty bottle once again. And if they would have a first blood on the top lane, they would be able to get an upgraded courier, but so far, not really able to get an opening. Maybe Jakiro is gonna be the one to go down, but kinda need level 2 for that if you want to just take him down with the supports. And Ice sailing around there at level 2 already. That's of course one of the advantages of being on the safe trial, and you get a bit more experience, because I did manage to take down the first wave of neutrals, I think. That's a bit more experience.
But yeah, Rattlesnake do a pretty good job. They managed to zone Zenith away from their nukes for a bit, but now able to go in and get the D-ward down. And okay, so Rattlesnake are going to try and take advantage of the big camp, but looks like Zenith are actually going to try and beat them to it, and the 200 is going to be camped up by Kabu. So haste up for him. I don't know if he's really going to be able to get too much done with it. And Ice, a very defensive build as well, picks up the Carapace at level 2.
Yeah, gonna be a bit harassed here by Kabu, but Kabu with the haste rune can't really get anything done there. I mean, the creep wave is not there, and can't really go head first in there. Not right now. Not when there's so much counter initiation ready for Zenith. I mean, you've got your Ice Path to just stop everything in its tracks. You got your Spike Carapace, like you already mentioned. That's very defensive. And, well, Ice Path up on Icy already. They might actually try to go for it. The Impale, very short blink actually. Impale upon Kabu. Rocket Rush there as well. Icy gonna get saved by the disruption, helping out. No more Rocket Rush. Ice himself in some trouble. Gets a Soul Catcher. Icy, trouble again. Uses Stick Charge. It's not gonna be enough. Ice gets the first blood.
Really nice play from Zenith. I mean, Rattlesnake come into fight over the Sentry Ward. They managed to keep the camp blocked, but I mean, losing their most important hero right now, and Icy's going to take a little bit to get back towards top. Cub are not going to be unhappy with soaking up the farm, but yeah, not a big win for Rattlesnake, that's for sure.
Not at
Middle
all.
on mid, Lanham is doing spectacularly against Yamate, I have to say, leading 16-3. Again, still this very economic build, but it's working out pretty well for him. So has his boots up, continues to harass aggressively, and cog after cog after cog.
Yeah, and he's just battle crowing together with the Shadow Fiend on the bottom lane. It is Luo that is doing very nicely as well. 14 for 6 rather, and XY sitting on 13 for 4, 15 for 4, 3 actually, and that's a kill top. The Shrek going down, double kill actually for Freedom. Gets himself the 2 supports, dual breath MVP. I missed that
got
one.
A really nice, yeah, they got a really nice stun to start things out, and just the follow-up damage is ridiculous. You know, between just the Gyrocopter wades in, and the rank 2 Rocket Barrage cleans up. So 4-minute urns just spawned, Solutions down at bot, Yamate's going to be able to make his way down and grab that one. So, you know, doing a pretty good job as far as lane control is concerned. Lanham's actually going for a kind of an interesting build. It's not very kill oriented. He's got more cogs, more rocket flare, not much assault, which is going to make it tough for him to try and get solo pickups. And we've got a smoke out from the Rattlesnake supports.
Yeah, they saw it happening though. That ward there, the pings came off as well. So we're gonna see Tinker being very safe, knowing that something might be coming. Marcher Machines keeps him safe for a little while, but he doesn't have any mana to give out more, so he backs off. And instantly we see also then Kabu and Sag just maybe trying to get something mid. I mean, trying to get something out of the fact that they actually just died. It's always nice to see, but being scouted out like that, not really ideal. They are going to be getting a disruption. There we go. Yamate going to be the target. Split Earth is going to be in time. Yes, that is. And that is going to be a kill going the way of the Clockwork Lanham winning mid if he wasn't already on last hits. And that is going to be a good thing made for a bad thing.
Yeah, so Rattlesnake, fantastic movement from them. You know, exactly like, as you said, they turned the 2 supports getting wiped out top into a kill on mid, and Lanham is going to be able to repay this favor later on. He's now level 6, he's got the quick shot ready to go, and he's definitely a hero who can come up and, you know, make life tough for this top far lane. So, I mean, Rattlesnake, it's obviously way too early to be making any calls about anything, but they're looking strong and still with a good game plan. Oh, reverse polarity is it on mid.
Yeah,
Finish it.
Lanham gonna be going down. One more hit needed unless Kabu can do something. No, it's not gonna be in time, and Liamate is gonna be able to get himself away. There is a level 1 Edict. He might be trying to do something, but the creeps are there. No way. He is gonna be able to soaking up the experience, though. That's nice for him. But whoa, that shockwave's not so nice for him. Nice pickup in the meantime. Dive on the top lane. Very far dive, actually, forcing Icy all the way back. And are gonna be trying to take down the tower with that. Are they gonna be able to fight this? TP incoming. Lanham gonna be there. Ice Path is gonna be there as well, though. And the Rocker Barrage and the Impale Disruption. Trying to help out a bit. Lanham looking for a hook. Finds it up on Ice. Ice gonna be going down. Tower getting the last hit. Ice as well as X Freedom running themselves away. Not gonna go for a turn and burn. Because there's nobody to burn when they turn. Oh my god, the pun. Oh, but there is still Magnus. Full mana and HP. Icy. Gonna be the one that's actually there to can actually blink away, though. But if he blinks away into the safe hands of the Magnus, which are not so safe, then that's all good. And he does. And he gets skewered back. And the Rocket Barrage is there. And the Shockwave as well. Stick charges are gonna be not enough. And Ice gets himself his second kill of the game. Is now 2-0 to 2. Doing really nice for himself.
Yamate just, I mean, what patience, really nice skewer, knew exactly what was going on. I guess, you know, nice foresight from him. And there's no wards, so this rotation mid might actually connect. The Freedom still a little bit slow. Does have his boots up, however.
Yeah, the rotation coming in from Rattlesnake was really nice, but in the end, Zenith's rotation was better, and I got more out of it as well. It's good to see that, or good to see. It is clear to see rather that Rattlesnake is maybe not as experienced fighting this as they were the previous lineup. Lanham is gonna be able to be okay with the cogs and the Split Earth helping him out in the mid lane, but I don't know. They feel a bit less oiled. I mean, you said it in game 1, a well-oiled machine.
Yep.
This feels a bit like less oiled. It's just a bit
little
rusty.
bit rustier.
Yeah.
A little bit rustier. So.
Oh my god.
I
You
think,
know, the
yeah,
metaphors are great.
Yeah, getting back into it.
Yeah.
So bottom lane, Shadowfiend's Loa's doing a really good job against Tinker. It's kind of to be expected. Tinker doesn't really have the high ground to play with or anything like that. Oh, and this is trouble.
And there's the disruption. Let's see what Luo can do with the Rages. Soul Catcher there as well. Rages should be enough. And he will go down. XY. Yeah, there you go. Shadow Demon actually getting the last hit. Look at the damage that Margin Machine still does, though. That is quite insane. And, I mean, you said it, Tinker's not really doing that great, but he does have an Ancient stack to take down soon. Because it is stacked, so he'll be getting up his farm at some point.
Yeah, that was the butt that was coming right after.
Sorry.
Right after the game. But yeah, Rattlesnake pick up 1. They're only down by 2, and experience and gold pretty much negligible at this point. Zenith are leading by about 1k in terms of gold. And just keep running these pulls. AM not having too fun a time up at top while the supports are off trying to do other stuff.
Yeah, so far nobody really trying to go for any towers just yet. We do of course have the Leshrac going for Edict, so we might see at some point Rattlesnake trying to push this a bit more. But then again, they need to go for a successful gank and then push, and actually have the Leshrac there when pushing. For example, that bottom lane might have been a good target if Leshrac would have actually been there. He would have been able to do that. Lanham, trouble. Nice Split Earth, stopping the RP from going through, but it will still be there. Skewer there as well. He is not going to be able to get anything off, though. Not before he dies. It is Lanham that gets the kill. Hook shot doesn't hit on the Nyx Assassin anymore. Ice gets himself away. Nice attempt from Zenith, but they wanted to use the RP. And that was something that Kabu managed to definitely stop.
Yeah, so that time Rattlesnake get the read. They've got a really nice ward placed as well, seeing anyone who's hanging out mid, so sort of suspected that Ice was coming up for that stun and able to get a nice little punish off. So we're back to only 1 kill in it. XY trying to clear out this stack, and he does need to be careful. As soon as the push comes to the tier 1 on bot, these Ancients are not going to be safe anymore, so he needs to get these finished up, maybe start moving back, you know, to a free lane if one is freed up, or even if the supports can stack up the jungle for him a little bit, he can, you know, try and finish up his travels there, because yeah, Rattlesnake, they are well aware of what's going on, and they're going to get the ward off on the camp, so that's going to be blocked out now. Yeah,
and we were at the point where Shadowfiend actually picked up his Requiem of Souls, so it's maybe trying to find use of that already. We do not have any big items up on him just yet, though. We have the treads, But other than that, I'm kind of expecting still a Shadow Blade out of Luo, but so far 1600 gold, not enough just yet. Needs 1400 more. That's quite a far way to go.
Yeah, good progress. Leading in terms of CS, but those kills that Ice has picked up on top is putting him on top of net worth. But Zenith support's playing pretty defensively right now. Looks like Ice is actually going to come in and try and get a D ward off on these Ancients. So Zenith, I don't think there's any alternate plan for Tinker. It's just keep him down on bot, keep him stacking up the Ancients, and get the travels eventually. Rattlesnake gonna try and slow him down as much as they can. But if the focus is on Tinker, then both Magnus and Gyrocopter are having an okay time. And Yamate's already got 700 gold towards that Blink Dagger, so not doing too badly just yet.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, the aggressive tri lane from Rattlesnake didn't really work out. Is Luo's farm that he has now worthy of that not so successful tri lane? I'm not quite sure. We do have Icy trying to get some extra farm up, but he is still very far behind. And I'm kind of thinking, is this not too far behind to get back on top in time? First tower does go down and actually gets denied, so Kabu getting that one done, which is a big help. I will stop saying big ass because apparently I'm saying that a lot today, but it's a big help because in this game towers don't go down that much, and if you then get a deny, that means all that much more. And a pause.
Yeah, exactly. So Kabu with a really nice deny. On the note of that bottom lane, I think Rattlesnake they're giving Icy the space now, which is really nice to see. So Luo, he can duck into the jungle, he can flash farm fairly well, and yeah, Rattlesnake just doing pretty well on the map. I'd like to see Zenith maybe placing a ward close to this tier 2 up on top, just to have an idea if any pushes are going to be coming from the anti-mage or something, because there's definitely some split push power there. But yeah, it's going to be a bit until he's going to be too relevant. But we're just waiting on both teams. We're waiting on the anti-mage for Rattlesnake, and we're kind of waiting on the Tinker for Zenith. So both teams need to give their full support. And XY is actually not that far away from his travels, sitting on 1400 gold. So Zenith doing a good job of backing him up and unblocking these Ancients.
Yeah, and by the time that he has that boosted travel up, Rattlesnake hasn't been able to push down the tower yet, and it will be only getting harder. As we actually have the Vendetta ready for Ice, and they are looking for a push on that mid lane. Zenith kind of seem ready to just start 5-manning this. Well, 4-manning right now, but when that Tinker is up, they will 5-man. And there is not really any big team fight that Rattlesnake has to be able to turn this around. And we talked about this during the draft, that you have 2 carries, which is great, you have 2 farmers, but you don't really have anything to really get your foot in the door or hold the door open in that mid game.
You don't have the cooldowns. So.
Yeah.
Zenith, they're sitting on top of the cooldown. Oh, but Ice.
Oh wow, that burst damage is insane. Spike Carapace up though, helping out for sure. Rage is going through cooldown as well. Kabu gonna get killed off by that homing missile that's gonna come in, unless someone can kill the homing missile off before it reaches. Yes, they can. Teamwork, that is, and they will be able to have Kabu staying alive. Zenith actually not getting more out of that one, which is commendable for Rattlesnake, but they still have their cooldowns ready. They still have that RP. They still have that Vendetta again soon.
And boy, do Rattlesnake know about this Vendetta. They're just throwing down sentries. It's in D-ward locations as well, but they're ready to go. And there's a sentry mid for Zenith.
Yeah, so. It doesn't scout out the 2 sentries that Rattlesnake actually have placed, so that's quite nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a false sense of security almost for the Nyx, because it's like, oh look, there's no sentry ward there. I can go up onto the high ground, but if he goes left or if he goes right, then
he'll be scouted. I think there is a bit of a line where he can move.
Yeah. That's a very deep observer ward from Zenith, I have to say, and in the Radiant jungle.
This is just to scout out people that are farming there, to make sure that they can gank them with the Nyx assassin probably.
And more than just not even about ganking them so much, but just knowing where they are, knowing if they have a TP scroll. If they don't have a TP, well then, all of a sudden the fight can be 4v5 in your favor, and it's a big opportunity for Zenith. So, while it's not a rune ward, while it's not necessarily too conventional, it's a big help.
Look at the sentry ward on the river, also on the bottom lane. Quite interesting to see that one, as it's almost vanishing, but it's still quite fun.
That was the one they used to de-ward the Ancients.
Ah. Oh, that makes a lot more sense all of a sudden. We do have the Shadow Blade up on Luo right now, so he will be able to use that and will be able to make a bigger impact because he now has that cooldown that he can use to try and keep this game going longer so that Anti-Mage can have the time to farm up because Anti-Mage really needs that time. He is lowest on the net worth of all the people that are actually trying to get farmed, so you know, he's not lower than a support, thank God for him, but you know, still lowest of everybody else.
Yeah, IC is just... It's gonna take a while for IC. Luo is hunting. XY is on full health though. Yeah, and I mean, there's a tower. He's got already rank 3 laser. Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for SF to get too much.
Yeah, and they now realize the Shadow Blade is there. They did ping. Does the center ward not scout out the other ward? Doesn't look like it, right? On the
no, I don't think so. Hookshot on bot,
gets XY, but he instantly backs up, realizing that Ice is here as well, gets an impale, stands in the march of the machines, now already out of mana, and walks away.
Yeah, he actually hit the creep instead of XY, so didn't get the stun and wasn't able to finish. Normally, the right warding spot on the... Hold that thought, Ice is getting...
getting blocked in by creeps.
Yeah.
Oh, Luo coming in though. Oh, and Ice still hanging around there. Cooldown coming down still. But it's not going to be enough, or maybe enough to kill off the Shadow Demon. He does disrupt himself just in time, and it's Ice that dies instead. 3 heroes used for that one. Nice gank, something they still desperately needed, just to make Ice a bit less cocky, because, you know, the kill itself won't hold him down that much.
But it's pretty greedy from Ice.
Yeah, ooh, that rage hurts. Yamate, down to half HP. We do have the Shadow Blade also completed on the gyro, but for him it's a bit of a different story because he has a Nyx Assassin on his team. So as we already saw, Rattlesnake is already warding for that Nyx Assassin, and now those wards will also scout out the gyro. So interesting to see that he still goes for that one, even though they have a Nyx.
Even just the mobility on Gyrocopter is amazing to have from the Shadow Blade, and I mean, after the recent Shadow Blade buffs, it's such efficient damage. But we've got a Vendetta top, so I see in trouble.
Yep, gonna be having the gyro with that as well. Hello, kill.
Yeah. So the first use of the Shadow Blade for Luo didn't really get a kill, though, you know, got value out of it anyway. So
yep.
This time around for Ice, yeah, gets that Shadow Blade and straight to work. And Zenith, haste and a smoke. Yamate behind the tower. Oh, and Kabu doesn't know what he's walking into.
Oh, Hookin on the top lane in the meantime gets himself Ice, but the Shadow Blade is there. Cooldown coming down as well. Lanham gonna be the one in trouble. Rocket Barrage helping out as well. Ice might be the one to go down first though, and he does go down. Demonic Purge helping out. Clockwork getting the kill. And now we see Yamate actually thinking, you know what? There's a bit too many people here, and I will just back off.
Meanwhile,
and he will always have his blink dagger as well, by the way.
It looks like Kabu walked up that hill on mid, and
he still went down.
Immediately regretted that decision. Oh, we didn't see them. I mean, they were on the high ground. They got revealed.
Yeah. Trying to help his teammates. That's what he gets for it. Lanham getting a lot of harassment again. This will be a tier 1 tower going down.
Yeah, that's going to be Blink Dagger for
yeah, a no deny this time.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Zenith pushing in. Rattlesnake still waiting around for Icy, but, you know, he hasn't really added too many deaths to his tally. He's getting some farm. He's gonna have the Battle Fury, and as soon as he's got that, I mean, the farming will begin. We'll start moving towards 3 AM though. Zenith's already starting to make control of the Radiant jungle a little bit difficult, and we were talking about the Blink Dagger for Magnus. XY actually has his finished up as well.
Oh, that's gonna be quite insane.
Yeah, and I mean, from here on out, he can just be such a nuisance. Split pushing, and until Anti-Mage can threaten him as far as split pushing is concerned, then he's gonna have free reign over this map. And the really nice thing about the Tinker and the Gyrocopter that I guess, you know, sometimes isn't talked about, Tinker's gonna, you know, be getting the majority of the farm on the map, but Gyrocopter's ability to just move into the jungle and flash farm there, and also, you know, also make use of the Ancients means that he's not going to be falling too far behind, and it means that the Tinker isn't. The Zenith are getting the full use out of the map.
Yeah. In the meantime, Icy so very far behind. Died 3 times. That combined with having an aggressive trial lane that he couldn't really free farm in, kind of results in him being not worth that much right now. Doesn't have his Battle Fury for yet. Doesn't have his treads because he went for Tranquil Boots, which is okay. but he still needs his threads to be able to successfully flash farm to the maximum of his potential. And he is just, it is tough for him to right now get back up in his feet, because you see how careful he is. He doesn't know where the enemy team is. He knows he can get jumped by 2 invisible heroes. There are some sentries up, but also Zenith doing a good job at counter sentry those sentries. So he has to be really careful. Everybody of Zenith was smoked up on the bottom lane though, and they weren't able to get anything apart from the tier 1 tower, which is the last tier 1 tower that is still standing on Rattlesnake, but they won't even try to defend this one.
And they get a very deep ward as well, which is gonna be valuable, you know, later on in the game. So that's gonna scout at anti-mage, and that's gonna give them, you know, the potential to maybe kill him off, or just keep applying pressure, you know, stop him flash farming his way through the jungle. And anything that they can do to slow down the anti-mage is great, because they're the person that they were waiting for. They don't have to wait for him anymore. Like, ready to go. He's on his tinker, but meanwhile, anti-mage is still sort of struggling along. So
yeah, on the top lane, Rattlesnake tried to go for something, but got scouted out and went back. They actually did also place an aggressive ward for them, but for them it wasn't really successful to use that one, as we have still Zenith laying down some pressure on the tier 2, forcing Rattlesnake to be here a bit more and to be a bit more closer to their base, just in case a fight will break out. And Icy is going to be trying to get some farm here, but slow is the pace he is farming at. And we're going to be checking. His gold per minute is actually sitting on 270.
ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, and the double invis.
Again. Lanham gonna come in, but gonna come in too late, and the Spike Carapace will lock him in as well. TPs are gonna come in though. They will still be able to pick up the Nyx Assassin, which is nice. But Tinker hanging around here as well. Icepad misses up on Luo. The sentry ward is there. They know where to find him if he comes close. But they back off. And Zenith is not gonna chase that, not after they got the prize that they wanted to have, which was of course Icy's anti-mage.
Exactly. Zenith are gonna trade. Zenith will trade any of their heroes for anti-mage any day of the week, I think, right now. Especially the Nyx. I mean, he's just the support. He's gonna be sad about the death, but killing the anti-mage one more time, definitely worth the trade. So, Zenith. And the nice thing about this is they're also making, you know, really nicely calculated moves in terms of who's actually going to do stuff. XY, meanwhile, is still continuing to farm. And I don't think we've had to look at the graphs in a little bit, but both sitting fairly comfortably in Zenith's hands right now.
Yeah, 4K and an experience graph, not that big of a difference, mostly of course because of the kills, or lack thereof rather. The kills are fairly even, because, I mean, we've seen exchanges, but as you saw, like, it's the heroes that matter. There's 8 kills on Zenith, 4 of those are up on the anti-mage. Well, go figure. That is quite painful for IC to be dealing with that. But that's why we see the experience graph being fairly even. The gold graph though saying a lot more, though you can also dispute that one, because there are 3 tier 1 towers going down, and 3 tier 1s results into about 4,500 gold if you count the last hits with that. Even though one of course was a deny, but you know, that's about the difference that it is.
Yeah, but I mean, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, potential gold is still there for Rattlesnake, and it's gonna get to the point in the game where the tier 1s are basically free. I mean, it doesn't take a big investment to get a tier 1 down, and especially if Icy can get that farm. I mean, his split push is gonna accelerate him straight onto those towers and, you know, farm up all that gold. But Zenith, a smoke again on mid.
Shadowfiend is such a boss if he walks around like he owns the place. Well, just the Battle Fury is sorry, the BKB is ready up on Luo, and he is actually, because he is the one that all the farm is at. Like I just said, farm might not be that much of a difference. He is the one hero on Rattlesnake that is supposed to be delaying the game long enough, and so far he looks still really good. There is going to be a wraparound gank though. Oh, they find the courier, and that's going to reveal them. He's going to make them turn around. Hook gonna miss. Luo hang around. Lanham gonna be walking right into this one. I'm not sure if he wants to do that. It's gonna be him that goes down first. Here comes a skewer. They're gonna be having Kaboo picked up as well. Dual breath going through. Sag gonna be picked up as well. 3 dead on the sidelines, but Luo just running for his life right now. Maybe can be picking up a kill still. Whoa. There was actually an attempted RP. Never mind, there was an RP. Luo gonna be cleaned up as well. And the only one that wasn't there was actually Icy, because, you know, he was farming. And that's trouble. And that was the courier going for actually the items that Icy needed to get his Battle Fury ready.
Poor Icy. He's just not having a fun game right now. Still farming. Ice comes in, applies pressure. So Zenith, a huge team fight. I mean, Luo, for all the farm that he has, he popped the BKB and Zenith are like, hey, it's Shadow Fiend. We're going for everybody else. Just walk straight on by. So. Oh, and let him.
Is he gonna go for that? The hook shot misses. Won't be able to go for it.
Nice blink by Yao.
Yeah. 4 staff actually up on the clockwork already. That's nice. Force himself out of his own cogs. Always useful. Locking someone else in with that.
There's a decision to be made between the 4 staff and picking up a mech. And Zenith, I mean, they've got so much team fight. I think there's definitely an argument to be made for picking up the mech. And on Zenith, would you look at this? Just stealing the Radiant jungle as well.
Cleaning it out completely. We do also have a Dagon up on XY. Level 1 only for now, but it just shows a bit of the state of the game. This is going the way of Zenith really convincingly, and it's getting a bit out of control for Rattlesnake right now.
Yeah, Rattlesnake, I mean, we haven't seen... we actually have seen quite a bit of smoke used from them. I'm actually surprised. It's all on cooldown. We're still waiting on these stuff. I think we'll have a couple... Actually, no, Kapu's got one in his inventory, Zag has one in his inventory, so the intent has been there, but it's just been difficult for them to actually get it. And Zenith still being very efficient with their time.
Yeah, now the age is done. Ice. I don't think that Zenith is going to be giving Rattlesnake any peace of mind. They are already preparing probably to just go mid and kill the tier 2 right there, and if they win another fight, they could of course go for more than just a tier 2. I mean, that fight just now on the top lane was basically the first real fight that Zenith actually convincingly won, rather than it just being a trade. And I think there might be a turnaround for that. Yeah, Luo running away. There is a gem of true set, by the way, up on the next assassin, so those shadow blades, etc. Or someone has a gem of true set. I saw it. Yeah, Magnus actually now has a gem. Has it. So yeah, there's no real use for Luo's Shadow Blade anymore, at least not to go in on the way. Luo himself has a Gem of True set as well, though.
If you look at the Radiant Vision at the moment, it really just tells the story of where their influence is on this map. Zenith are the ones, you know, lurking in the shadows, pushing in every single lane, feeling really in control. They've got the vision, and yeah, with this Aegis, they're just going to be able to slow push mid, slow push bot, and then probably put some pressure on a tier 3 as well. Yamasei constantly looking for that initiation. Lanham, surprisingly aggressive from him. They see Tinker bot, and that's enough for them to try and make a move mid.
Yeah, we do have the Battle Fury now up at IC, but like I said, the thread's not there yet, so you know, not yet ready to go for that flash farming. But I don't know, can they actually hold on long enough? Is Zenith gonna give them the time?
I think the problem for them is that they don't have that big threatening ultimate. They don't have the big, you know, the big spam. They've got Razes, they've got Lestrak, and they do have, you know, Clockwork as well, but nothing that's an ability that's significantly better when you're on the high ground. I mean, there are a couple of abilities in the game that just get twice as good when you're the ones who are sitting back on your high ground waiting to initiate, because you can pop a smoke, you know, RP, Black Hole. I mean, we haven't seen Enigma in months, but just there's nothing like that on Rattlesnake, so that they don't gain a significant advantage by fighting at their tier 3 compared to fighting at, you know, say the tier 2. Yes, they have the high ground. Yes, they have the vision.
They're gonna go here. Stop. Yeah, I'm not even gonna do, no. That's just a simple kill.
Of course, that's just brutal.
Oh, yeah, oh, and top lane actually also, mid lane rather, the blink away from Icy is there. He's gonna get a rocket to send him on his way. He does now have his treads. Happy time.
Flash farm mode.
Flash farm mode at 28 minutes in. We saw him when he was at 270 gold permitted. He's now at 300. Let's see how fast he can get ahead, and if he actually is gonna get the time, because that all depends on Zenith. When they think they can push up the high ground, Icy's gonna be forced back towards his base.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to look at the gold in the experience.
I will.
They don't paint a very pretty picture at the moment. I mean, all it shows is that Zenith have taken complete control of the map. They're farming both jungles, they're farming both ancients, they're farming all 3 lanes. It's just, it's disgusting. There's not a whole lot that Rattlesnake can do to contest this. And Yamate finds himself another haste rune. So Icy could be in trouble top.
Yeah, and there's a smoke also up for just for Icy. Vendetta will scout out if he's actually there. He should be there. Blinks himself away, goes further into the jungle actually. And just Ice won't be able to find him. Actually, they ping exactly at the right place. How pro is that?
Yeah. Oh, Icy surrounded on all sides and no TP. Oh,
hello. RPs, lasers, impales. Ice actually stealing a kill at that last one, and now they can just push. Did he not have? He did not have a TP to TP out. That's just not really good. That was just something of a mistake. I would call that out.
Yeah, and I mean, he's almost close enough to his base where it's like, ah, I'm one blink away from base. You know, what's he gonna do? But
well, that's what they're gonna do.
Radiant's top tower is
Zenith are gonna get the pick off, and they're gonna start
bottom tower
pushing. Do
is
they
under
still
attack.
have much of this Aegis left? They do. They've got a whole minute. Wow, this is gonna be really tough.
Yeah, they're gonna be forced to fight this demonic purge, but hook in. Also, it lands on Ice. Icebet coming down, cooldown as well. BKB activated by SSI, still has the Aegis, so even if he dies, he will be back again. Nobody dying just yet. Luo might be trying to do something here, but he gets forced back again by the next creep wave. Rockets will fly, will hit, and the March of the Machines creates basically a clear strip where Zenith can just stand and lean back and wait for the next wave to come in. Creep wave, that is.
I don't know about the decision from Zenith to, well, I guess they've got a bottle, but Ice chose to pop the BKB to survive, and I mean, most of the time you want to save the BKB for after the Aegis, so it makes a very conscious decision there, and that means that they have to back off for a bit. But they've still got long enough left.
Impale up on Lanham. Skewer doesn't get anything from Yamate. Lanham still goes down to the March of the Machines. And let's see, Ice taking a lot of damage here, still has of course that Aegis, will have it burned away. BKB activated by Luo. What can he do? He casts his Wrecking Missiles just too early. Actually, no, it hits. Split Earth hits as well. Ice is in some trouble, gonna be hit by the tower, but that Shadow Blade just saved his life. 29 HP and will be able to TP home safely. Will not be able to finish his job that he started on the tier 3 tower though.
So really nice team fight for Rattlesnake. They lose some health in the tier 3, but they're holding on. And Icy is getting a bit of pushing down bot though, you know. Butts his head against the fortification. So we're 32 minutes in, we've got an anti-mage and we still haven't seen a tier 1 fall, but Zenith are just making life incredibly difficult for Icy.
He is still 1/3 of all the kills that Zenith have got. And that's not a good feeling.
Zenith
Anti-mage
put a big fat target on Anti-Mage's head at the start of this game. They followed through.
Yep. The one who kills anti-mage most can has to pay, or anti-mage least rather, gets to pay for dinner rather. And that's also why we of course saw Ice stealing that last hit right there with that impale. Yep.
It's exactly why XY has this day gone. Just for that little bit of extra burst.
Just for that, stealing those last hits, just to not be the one to having to pay for dinner.
So we've got almost a hex finished up for XY. That's gonna. I mean, Icy's already having a tough time split pushing. Once that hex is up, I just don't think he can. I don't think he can do it. It's hard to say, but I mean, XY can lie in wait in the trees. You know, Vendetta comes in. There's a hex. There's a second hex. There's a third hex, and I mean, I don't know if Anti-Mage has the health. Rattlesnake, they've actually managed to pick themselves up a gem, so re-establishing a bit of control over the map. I mean, we looked at the Radiant Vision earlier, and it was just, their tier 2s. They got some more coverage over their jungle. They freed up a little bit more farming space for themselves, and they have managed to stabilize both the golden experience crafts. So, position in this game, they're getting a finger hold back on. I'm not gonna call it anything more than that because Zenith is still just pushing.
Of hope.
Yeah, there's the skin of their teeth still between them and losing the game.
Yeah, well, Zenith is not going to be giving Rattlesnake any peace of mind though. They're going to be going top. Luo coming in, hook shot in for Ice. It's actually Rattlesnake that's the aggressor right here. Ice though. Ice just goes down. Lanham as well though. Cooldown coming down. BKB up on Ice. Pops the Shadow Blade looking for Luo. Luo has the gem though. He will see him. He has got the Requiem of Souls. There's also a gem up on the Magnus though, looking for that RP, can't find it, doesn't need to find it. And it's Ice getting the kill, and this could provide the opening that they needed, because does Luo have buyback? Yes, they do. He does need it though. He needs it bad.
Yeah, I think it might be forced out here. I mean, XY picks up the Hex, he's coming into the fight, and this is if he doesn't buy back, then he's just gonna jump straight up onto the high ground, and that's gonna make things even harder.
And there's the buyback, and instantly we see Yamate already being a bit more careful. Fortification goes off to delay the tower's demise, but demise it shall be regardless. Cooldown coming down upon Kabu, takes the first tick and escapes the second one, but still gets hit by the rocket. Coming off from XY, who is just sitting at the low ground, spamming stop hook in from Lanham. Do you really want to do that again? You did that just now, already went down. Skewer misses him, disruption saves his life. Look at that Marching Machines just, and the flak cannon actually forcing the Shadow Demon back towards his base. The racks go down. Next set of racks gonna be in some trouble, as well as the siege creeps, and the normal creeps just are bashing it down. Luo will come in to try and save the day. Should be enough, but ranged or melee racks down, and that is exactly what Zenith came from. They back off. No casualties.
I mean, Zenith, perfect execution from them. They got the buyback. They lost nobody. They got their racks. I mean, what more can you possibly ask for? And they didn't lose anything in any other lane either. So Icy doesn't manage to still push, and Icy is now sitting right on top of him with a blink dagger as well. And XY's going to blink in.
Let's see what he can do. Blink forward from XY, another hex, and that's gonna be a kill. Oh, it's so tough to be an anti-mage in this game.
It's tough times, and especially when there's
Blink forward, impale upon one, and Monocure still there. Luo coming in as well. Nice RP, and that is gonna be heroes on the sideline all around. GG Cole. Zenith are the ones that show who's boss. Zenith go to the semifinals in the AMD Premier League.
Yeah, so Zenith gonna advance. Really nice play by them. Again, I think found their feet in the second game. Rattlesnake showing us some unique dubs. I'm really excited to see more of them as we move forward into the qualifiers. Although obviously they're going to be unfortunately going home without anything from this tournament.
Yep. We are gonna see who Zenith's opponent's gonna be in the semifinals, because it's either gonna be MUFC or Mineski. Another matchup between TI3 invitees and TI3 qualifiers teams in the next quarterfinal, the last quarterfinal that we will see. Semifinals are all gonna be up on Tuesday, as we see Zenith having some fun in the fountain and gonna be able to get everybody down again. No rampage though, and the throne will explode. Any shout out for you?
So let's do a shout out to Slav because he requested it. We're gonna do a shout out to TYH, shout out to AQ, and actually shout outs to Fizzy and Travi Chan if they're watching. I don't know if they are, but that's it. Yeah, for me.
And where can people find you?
So I am Basskip on everywhere. So I am Basskip on Twitch. If you guys want to follow me there, I do pub streams and I do casting of my own. I'm on Twitter as Basskip. All my VODs are at youtube.com/Basskip. Facebook is Basskip, and I'd love to hear from you guys as far as feedback on my casting is concerned. So you can leave me a message in chat. I'm keeping an eye on it, or you can email me at basskipdota@gmail.com, and that would be great. So yeah, that's it for me. Thanks, Sheever, for having me along.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Not sure, you said yesterday that you might be able to cast only one of the best out of threes, because if you want to, you're welcome to join the next matchup as well. And as far as, well, I don't really have shoutouts, but I will want to say that if you want to follow me or subscribe to my YouTube channel, etc., all can be found on youtube.com/SheeverGaming, facebook.com/SheeverGaming, twitter.com/SheeverGaming. I think you get the drift there. We will be jumping ourselves into the next game. MUFC taking on Mineski. Don't go anywhere. More Dota 2 action coming up your way right now.
Decisions. I would love to keep casting, but it's almost 1 AM, so we're looking.